into the unknown with you. I'm letting go into the unknown with you. Cannot see you when the night is darkest. Your voice will lead me through. Your voice will lead me through. To my way, Lord, my way is known by you. Be a lamp before my feet, Lord. Lead me on to the truth. Be a light into my way. Into the unknown with you. I'm letting go into the unknown with you. I'm letting go into the unknown with you. I'm letting go into the unknown with you. I'm letting go. I'm letting go into
Edges friends. My name is Jackie, and I'm one of your lead worshipers, and I use the pronouns she and her. I want to extend a special welcome to you all this morning on this earlier Sunday morning due to daylight savings. So, hey, go grab your coffee, and let's kick this morning off with wonder.
Have you ever seen the wonder and the glimmer of first sight? As the eyes began to open and the blindness meets the light. If you have so said, I see the world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in life, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. Have you ever seen the wonder in the air of second life? Have you come out of the waters, the old one left behind? If you have soul set, I see the world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in life, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I see the world in grace, I see the world in gospel, I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I'm walking in the wonder, the wonder in the world, from wilderness to wonder. Oh, I see the world in love, I see the world in freedom, I see the Jesus way, the wonder in the world. I see the world your way, and I'm not afraid to follow. I see the world your way, and I'm not ashamed to say so. I see the Jesus way, and I'm walking in the light. I see the world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in life, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. Oh, I see the world in grace, I see the world in gospel, I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I'm walking in the wonder in the world, from wilderness to wonder. Oh, I see the world in love, I see the world in freedom, I see the Jesus way, wonder in the world, from wilderness to wonder, wonder in the world, from wilderness to wonder.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Edges. I'm Mandy Newman, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm the pastor here at Edges, and I'd like to welcome you to this worship space today. Now, if you're new to Edges, we'd love to connect with you. Simply visit our website and sign up for our weekly email. Check it out at bumcedges.com. Now, there are two quick announcements for me to share with you today. The first is that at the end of our worship conversation, we'll have the opportunity to share communion together today. So have your bread and your juice ready, and a Zoom link will appear in the chat for you at the end of our YouTube live stream. Simply click that link and it'll take you to the Zoom room, and I'll meet you there. Everyone is welcome to join. Now, the second announcement for today is that we'll have another gathering grounds next Sunday, March 21st at 9:45 a.m. Just before worship. If you haven't joined us before, now's your chance. Come and have friendly conversation and coffee in a Zoom room. A link to sign up for that will be in our email this week. Now that's it for announcement, folks. Would you pray with me? Loving God, we give you thanks for the gift of this day, and we pray for the life of the world. You speak to us in all things, O God, in the rising of the sun and in the encounters that we have every day, even in the blessings and hurts. Heal us, we pray. Open our hearts this day that we may come to know you more. Work in and through us, wherever we may find ourselves, and change our lives to love you more fully. Amen.
Thank you, Mandy, and good morning. I'm Sydney Cole, a part of the community here at Edges and a student at Virginia Tech. I'm so delighted to join you all today as a member of our Theo team here at Edges. I'm even more grateful for this time each week, where no matter how chaotic the world around me might seem, I get to join you all in worship. Believe it or not, today marks a full year since we've transitioned to fully virtual worship conversations. And in that time, Edges has been nothing shy of remarkable. This past year has been a testament of how much resilience we have as a community as a whole, and in each of us as individuals. As Edges, we've come together now in ways that we never even imagined possible last year. In our individual lives, we've overcome obstacles and gone through hardships that we used to think were unimaginable. And what we've experienced through what might have been stress, anxiety, and more within the past year has also given us strength and growth. So in case no one has reminded you recently, you've adapted to the ever-changing world around you with new routines and an entire new way of living your life. This is something you should take time to be proud of yourself for. Today's the fourth Sunday of Lent. Now, I'm not telling you that just to remind you to count down for Easter, but rather because I'm still in awe of these words that we heard the first week of Lent, shared by Preston. They're from Meister Eckhart. These words still resonate with me. They are, God is found not in the soul by adding anything, but by a process of subtraction. Now, my first thought of how this idea could apply to my life during Lent was in my goal to reduce my phone usage. Although I would say this has literally helped me to subtract something, it has also given me a chance to grow closer to God. It mostly allowed me to have more time to reflect on those words and even the words I'm sharing with you today. Some of the questions that I thought about were, what things do I have in my life that already allow divinity to shine through? And what could I truly subtract from my life that would make it better than it is now? In these thoughts, I realized that I seem to contradict myself through this in the culture that I find myself buying into that says the busier I am, the more successful I am going to be in my career, or the better my friendships are, or the more firm I am in my faith. But in adding more and more things into my life, I find myself farther from God and farther from the person I want to be. I don't want to be the person that can just check off boxes and completing things. This lifestyle of constantly running around and seeming like I'm on autopilot just so I can cross something off my to-do list makes the idea of completing something just that. It's not really being intentional in accomplishing things, and at the end of the day, it's exhausting. Instead, looking at the intention of these things that I do not only is beneficial to my well-being and my health, but in my relationship with my own faith. When I don't pay attention to my inner self, I move full speed ahead while the rest of my life just blurs by. And this clutters my connection to God. When I add space to breathe and to reflect in my thoughts, just that small intentional choice allows a little bit of that divinity to shine through. Even just recognizing that I need to do more of this opens up the opportunity for the divinity that's already in my life to begin shining through. With this being said, in the chat, I encourage you to share some words that you have heard recently that have really resonated with you. These might be words that are encouraging or give you a new perspective. It could be a quote you read, something someone told you, or even something you overheard. I'm always in awe with the way that words can have an impact on me. And sometimes my own words to myself seem to have the most impact. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why am I here? What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And what is the point in what I'm doing? I would say it's beneficial to ask yourself any of these questions throughout your life. But for me, my first semester of college, I was asking myself all of these questions at the same time. Now, I still definitely think about these questions in my day-to-day lives, even though it's 4.5 years later. But that first semester, those questions literally kept me awake at night. I was searching for so much purpose in what I was doing. It was hard to get past that. My first semester at college was rough, and I mean really rough. Like, I cried so hard during a calculus exam, my tears actually smeared the ink on the exam. I felt like I had only come to school because that's what I was supposed to do. And I was struggling to figure out what the purpose was behind it and what I was doing and where I am. I was struggling to figure out the point of it all. And what in the world was I supposed to do with my life? I was aimlessly searching for that purpose. I realized, unlike a majority of my peers, I wasn't just asking myself questions of, oh, do I enjoy my major still, or do I feel home in my college experience? This question was about what should I do in my life that would inspire me to continue to grow to be a better version of myself. I knew that life was about more than just surviving or existing, yet at that point in my freshman semester, I felt like all I was doing was surviving that semester. And I had no clue at the answer that I was searching for. I aspired to find something that would connect me to my life and where I was and in myself, but also that would motivate me in the future. At Edges, we've talked before about the golden thread in things. We've talked about it in stories in the Bible, in Jesus' life, and in the sermon series we hear each Sunday. I found that golden thread idea to be true outside of my faith as well. If you ponder life enough, like I do on long car rides, I find that you can find golden threads in a lot of things in life. After all of this time of contemplation, I felt like I had found what I was looking for, and it wasn't necessarily a clear answer or a sign. It was a thread like this. It was a thread in searching for purpose in my life, to be service. And this isn't the type of service that is limited to just the act of serving others through actions, but rather the underlying intention in all of the actions that I do. For example, I aim to be a sincere friend. Not because then I am convinced my friends will all be sincere and every person I interact with will be sincere, but simply because I think that every person deserves to have a sincere friend. This act of service is just the same as holding the door open for a person behind you. This is how I came to terms with my college experience. With this purpose of service, college wasn't just about spending 4 or 5 years of my life grinding in my classes just to get a job in my desired industry. Rather, through my college experience, I would learn more about the world outside of my personal experiences and then could lean into these opportunities to make a positive impact. In this way, as a freshman in college, I ended up serving my future self through dedicating the time to my education. I knew I wanted to be a better version of myself in the future, and I'm already a better person, able to support people with the things I've learned and how I've grown in my college experience in the past 4.5 years. But get this, as grand as it sounds, to be able to say that I have decided my life's purpose was to serve, that meant I needed to look at it in other aspects besides just college. The most overarching thing in my life is God's creation. My friends, my neighbors, nature, this community, and myself. It's all God's creation. So with this purpose of service, I can serve what God has created through simply living my life. We tend to see service in grand gestures. We shouldn't let the grand acts of service in our life and in the community around us overshadow the power of the everyday ways we have the possibility to give. It's great to go out of your way when you have the capacity to do so in acts of service, but in reality, we live busy lives, and it's relieving to know that we can serve in the way we already live. This service and this golden thread connects the things we have, our friends, our family, our hearts, and ourselves to God. The opportunity to live our lives with intention and serve God's creation in reality are endless now. We can see how Jesus did this through his living. Let us now look at John 13. The story starts out in verse 1. Jesus tells us that he and his disciples are sitting down and enjoying a meal together. I'm sure this was an everyday thing that they had done countless times before. During this meal, Jesus got up from the table to pour water in a basin and began to wash the feet of his disciples. Now, if someone did this nowadays during dinner, it would be slightly odd. But during Jesus' time, this was a normal thing to do. Most people wore sandals everywhere they went, and they were walking on dusty roads. So this meant by the end of the day, your feet could use a good washing. Since running water was not available, commonly servants or the wife of the host would wash the feet with water in a basin. So this practice of feet washing was familiar to Jesus and his disciples. It was an everyday practice. What was not so everyday was that Jesus was doing the washing, and Peter was not afraid to point this out. In verse 6, when Jesus came to Peter, he said, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you shall never wash my feet." But Jesus answered, "Unless I wash your feet, you will have no part in me." I would like to imagine this is the place where Peter realizes that Jesus is following a completely different thread, leading him to a very different place than Peter. This is when Peter probably realized it was more about just washing feet. And even though Jesus was right and that Peter did not understand, Peter knew that he was going to follow Jesus and see where this went. So then in verse 9, Peter said, Then Lord, not just my feet, but my whole head as well." But this wasn't how it went. Later, when Jesus had finished washing their feet, he had put his clothes on and returned to his place. He said, "Do you understand what I have done for you?" He asked them. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I am your Lord and your teacher and have washed your feet, you should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor a message greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you'll be blessed if you do them." Jesus is telling us what I now hold to be true. He is Lord, but he is also us. Jesus is providing us a living example so that service to one another carries on through future generations by following his actions. He just washed their feet, which was an everyday task of hospitality, but at the same time, it was such a divine moment. He served the people who served him, and he did this with what was near to him. It doesn't tell us that he walked a mile to get water or made a large ordeal about it. He lived in the everydayness of it. He took an everyday task that was already a part of his life and a part of the disciples' life and shared it with others in a way that helped them. Jesus knew what he had come to earth to do. He knew his purpose was to serve God and us. He knew that he needed to set an example for us in how we can grow nearer to God, and this translates to our purpose in living life and serving through our everyday actions. We can grow closer to God in using Jesus as inspiration for how we connect things in our lives. Jesus' act of service in washing feet was a very simple, common, and grounded action, like so many other things we already do in our life, like nowadays standing 6 feet away from someone or holding the door open for someone. Most of us probably don't even realize all of these little ways the divinity has the opportunity to shine through. So what if we broaden our concept of both creation and service? What if together we consider this? If you recycle, your He just washed their feet, which was an everyday task of hospitality, but at the same time, it was such a divine moment. He served the people who served him, and he did this with what was near to him. It doesn't tell us that he walked a mile to get water or made a large ordeal about it. He lived in the everydayness of it. He took an everyday task that was already a part of his life and a part of the disciples' life and shared it with others in a way that helped them. Jesus knew what he had come to earth to do. He knew his purpose was to serve God and us. He knew that he needed to set an example for us in how we can grow nearer to God. And this translates to our purpose in living life and serving through our everyday actions. We can grow closer to God in using Jesus as inspiration for how we connect things in our lives. Jesus' act of service in washing feet was a very simple, common, and grounded action, like so many other things we already do in our life, like nowadays standing 6 feet away from someone or holding the door open for someone. Most of us probably don't even realize all of these little ways the divinity has the opportunity to shine through. So what if we broaden our concept of both creation and service? What if together we consider this? If you recycle, you're serving the earth. If you hold the door open for someone, you're serving your neighbors. If you practice self-care, you're serving yourself. And each of these things is seamlessly normal and familiar to us in everyday moments. Yet, this divinity has the opportunity to shine through. These little things have the opportunity to allow us to lean into what is already present in our life while connecting it closer to God. In Peter's moment of having his feet washed by Jesus, he came to realize the everyday moments can be divine as well.
Make me a vessel of your peace. Where there is war, let fighting cease. All that divides us, come reconcile us. Make me a vessel of your peace. Make me a vessel of your love. Where there is hatred, break it up. All creeds and colors bind us together. Make me a vessel of your love. Pour me out, pour me out, pour me out. Wherever I am, wherever I go, pour
Opening our minds to the perspective of what we do serves God's creation and therefore all of the people in our lives and ourselves gives it so much life to everything we do. It gives purpose to those everyday tasks we might not look forward to, but now have the opportunity to really benefit from. So I hope you open the possibility of how this view can bring more joy and life to your life. By keeping on doing what is already routine in your life and what is already familiar and accessible to you. This opens the opportunity to notice the divine that's already there, present in our actions each day. So as we begin our week, friends, I invite the God that blesses you and keeps you to allow his divinity to shine through you, and that may each task you do in your everyday life bring you light. Amen.
Good to me, and I will taste and see that you are good, and I will taste and see that you are good, and I will taste and see that you are good, good to me. Come to the river, come to the river, taste and see. Come to the river, come to the river, taste and see.
Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping.